Teachers of Reddit, what's the weirdest thing a student answered to tell me a fun fact about yourself? Student told me that there is a chapter dedicated to him in a dental surgery textbook because of a very rare disorder that he had as a child. I may still have that essay. My brother had something like this. When he was somewhere around 9 or 10 years old, he had to have 12 teeth surgically removed. He just had too many growing too quickly. It was so crazy that the oral surgeon apparently negotiated a deal with my father. The surgeon will completely pay for my brother's surgery, in exchange for taking a couple extra x-rays and lots of photos, to be published in an academic journal of some sort. Reddit coming full circle. Teacher of brother meets brother's sibling. During French class, a guy in my class said that he liked stabbing children. He meant that he fences, but didn't know the exact translation for that. I love the French class fun facts. In a beginner French class, I had to accidentally come out to the class when I was asked whether I had a spouse. Je suis un lesbien. It was awkward. J'aime des chats. Je préfère les chats. Good point. I'm not sure why I made them male cats. Also, chat is slang for PP. I was an ESL teacher in Indonesia and a student once told me every morning she cleaned the it on her bed. I asked her to clarify, worried she had a serious digestive issue. She answered, I brush my teeth, wash face and clean bed sheet. I did the same for a few years and it was great. I remember one class had to make posters of something that meant a lot to them. Most drew pics of their family with mom, dad, sister, brother etc. labeled on them. Some drew their pets or something. Some drew BTS. The usual stuff that you'd expect. One kid's paper just had a huge picture of a hand flipping someone off with the word piss in huge letters across it. I was like, what the frick, Sayakura? It took me a moment to realize that she had meant to write peace, but spelt it using phonics from Bahasa. Also had to explain that the peace sign has the palm outwards. Not gonna lie, accidentally flipped off a couple cashiers at cafes and such when I was in England and wanted two of something. Generally the exchange involved them looking offended, then me turning bright red and apologizing repeatedly. Our only version of flip off in the US is the middle finger. In fact, casually throwing up two fingers with the palm facing in can also be a what's up kind of greeting. So, yeah, cultural differences and all. Not a teacher, but I was a helper in a middle school classroom. A young girl, who seemed uninterested, said, with no hesitation, that she can chug an entire bottle of beer. She got expelled later that year for keeping drugs in her locker. Brutal. I'm a middle school teacher and I find that most adults who don't spend much time around kids don't realize just how young middle schoolers are. I mean, LOL, immature middle schoolers is kind of a meme, but seriously, we are talking about 11-year-olds here. That's sad. My dad clogged the toilet this morning and that's why I am feeling frustrated. -5-year-old child. I will say the question was, how are you doing this morning? But I could barely keep from laughing out loud. I have vibes. My toddler once told visiting friends that daddy takes long poops. I mean, I was having a flare up and had some extended bathroom sessions. But, dang little dude, not cool. I'm terrified, amused about what he might share at school in the near future. Everything. The teacher will know everything. This is why parent-teacher conferences terrify me. My kid will tell his teacher more about my personal business than I tell my therapist. Well, I'm 21 now, but in kindergarten we had to bring something pretty to class for show and tell. I brought my mom's new bra and panty set from Victoria's Secret LOL. At about 8 years old I brought my mom's bikini to daycare to wear to the pool. It had big, foamsy cups. Strutted my way out to the pool and all the adult size bugged out of their heads before quickly ushering me back inside and calling my mom. I am not a teacher, but this guy in my class named Shane has this medical condition that causes him to grow tons of hair at an early age. Full beard in middle school. He would say I'm Shane and I'm very hairy. He could say my name is Shane, but friends call me Harry. You're a Shane, Harry. A student once told my wife that her daddy had a special device that he had to blow into to start his truck. We did one of those 2 truths 1 lie bits. Girl stands up and says, I've never been out of the country. I'm a twin. I love playing sports. I knew this girl beforehand and knew she didn't have a twin, so picked that one. Nope. She had a conjoined twin that died in utero and had to be surgically removed, and she's now missing the last vertebrae on her spine. Showed us the scar and everything. Apparently the lie was the first one as she'd been to Mexico. I had a student say a similar thing. I really like reading books. I had a stroke 3 years ago. I'm a triplet. This was the first few days at a new school for me, and his twin sister was in my class. So, he's a twin, right? Nope. They are triplets, but his brother is in a different school. BC, he's incredibly smart. This kid was in a special program 1 day a week. BC, he was smart too. So his brother must have been a genius. His sister just sat there like, yay, one brother is a genius and this does brilliant. I'm just me. She was a fantastic kid, but had a lot of self-esteem issues for obvious reasons. LOL. I'm a triplet. One of us runs an engineering firm. The other is a university professor. The third just got out of jail and managed to land a decent job installing hardwood floors. Congrats on the flooring job. Less awkward than my situation. We went on a field trip with another class and befriended a girl. When we got back, I tried to sit with her at lunch. It took almost a week to realize she was an identical twin, and I had been sitting with her twin the whole time. She was known as the friendly, approachable one, and her twin was known as being kinda the bitchy one. I ended up being BFFs with her twin. She's so unapproachable initially that I wonder how many friends she's made by people mistaking her for her more friendly sister. That's just the galaxy brain play. Don't need to learn how to be sociable if your twin can do it for you. Not a teacher, but in 3rd grade, we would do this weekly "how was your weekend" sort of thing where we'd sit in a circle and share. This one girl casually goes, I found out that my biological father didn't want me, in a super nonchalant tone and everything. I still remember the awkward tension. That he has been to juvie multiple times and is currently on probation. Then he pulled up his pants enough that everyone could see his ankle monitor. That was something. Then he pulled up his pants. Not actually the worst direction he could have pulled his pants, though. Cock monitor. I teach ESL, and every lesson we start the class by sharing something good that happened to us over the last week or so. Needless to say, kids share the most random things ever. I have many weird stories because of that. We enforce a rule that they need to share good things so they don't start one-upping each other over whose grandma had the worst death. LOL. One day, a student said, I was riding my bike over the weekend when I fell. I could see where it was going, but didn't have enough time to enforce the rule when he just spat out. I fell over a wired fence and cut my neck. It just kept gushing blood, a lot of blood. I reminded him that we were only sharing good news when he said, it's good, because I'm still alive. I had a good laugh and agreed, but the damage was done. Every kid after him wanted to share about the most horrific injury they had or witnessed. Once the boulder had started rolling, you can't stop it. I hate when this happens. My friend is really quiet. He doesn't really talk unless talked to. He's really cool though and has some things he enjoys doing. Literally 2nd year I knew him. The teacher asked this and he said he's a professional bowler with a 300 best. And I was like, why haven't you told me this? That's amazing. I guess it just never came up. Hud up. Knew him for a whole year and never knew that. Guess he had a spare fact. Has some things he enjoys doing. Same. Had students, age 11, sharing strategies for dealing with difficult emotions, one at a time in a big circle. One girl talked about digging her nails into her face whenever she was feeling stressed or anxious, and I had to explain to the class why self-harm was not a good coping strategy. How did you explain it? I didn't go into a lot of detail. How would you? But I said I didn't recommend hurting yourself to help cope with things, because if that became a habit, you'd feel a lot worse in the long run. I said thank you to her for sharing, but asked the next person for a strategy that didn't involve hurting yourself. I like to dig my nails into the face of the kid sitting next to me. Thanks for the laugh. Sounds like a good answer, particularly the part about feeling worse in the long run. It's good, because you gave an explanation, without shaming the girl. Did you have to report it? When I was in my first year at university, my law and society professor made each student get up, say her name and tell why they picked law school. Well, a guy got up, said his name, and the professor interrupted him by asking Anon, "Are you related to X?" The guy, "Yes, professor. He is my grandfather." Then the professor got excited and started talking about what great of a guy X is and that he haven't heard of him in years. Then the professor asked how he was. Anon replied, "He is dead, sir." The whole class was trying to hold the laughter. It pretty much broke the class that first day. At least he said good things about the grandpa, instead of calling him an idiot and finding out after he was deceased. So how's that piece of it doing these days? He's dead, sir. Oh, good. I feel bad for laughing right now, but I can only imagine the embarrassed face on that teacher's.